There is no doubt in my mind that the best way to improve for most people is to get one-to-one coaching. Now, I know that that's not possible. You're watching my videos, possibly because you can't find a coach. That's why I run my remote squash coaching service, so that people can get some coaching when they can't find it in their area, or many reasons. But the reality is that there are some things that you should know before you go and get coaching that will improve that process. And I'm going to talk about them now. Number one, the coach doesn't have to be better than you to help you improve. Now, that might seem obvious when it gets to professional levels, in the sense that a professional and his coach, if the coach were to play the professional in a serious match, probably the professional would win. Otherwise, the coach would be a professional. But of course, perhaps in the past, the coach was better. So maybe it makes more sense at the top end of the game. But at the club level, you might feel that your coach has to have been a great player, and that doesn't always make sense. It's not always true. Just because a player was a great player or a very good player doesn't mean that they'll be a good coach. I know a world champion who has admitted to me that he was a terrible coach and he didn't enjoy it at all. So not everybody can be a good coach. Now, going back to that, the point here is that if you're a club player, don't think that that player, that coach has to be better than you. They have to be able to help you improve. They have to know what you need to do. They have to be able to help you do that. So if you go and you think that your coach has to be better than you, you're wrong. They don't. Now, there are different types of coaches, and if you want to become a professional, you need to find the right coach. But in general, for club players, all you need is somebody who knows what you need and knows how to give it to you. Number two, don't be sexist. Now, I shouldn't even have to say this, but I know that I do. And what I mean by that is, most people watching this will be men, and they will discount, not everybody, but they will discount working with a coach if she is a woman. They will say, no, I'm not going to work with a woman. What can a woman teach me? I'm better than them. And of course that relates to maybe the first one there about being better than the coach. But there are just as many great female coaches as there are men in percentage-wise, because of course there'll be less female coaches. But don't have that attitude of just because this coach is a woman, she's not going to be able to help you. That's a terrible attitude. You should go with a different mindset. You should be open and be prepared to listen to anybody who can help your game, whether they are young, whether they are old, whether they are men or whether they are women. Shouldn't make any difference. Don't be sexist about choosing your coach. Number three, it's a process. It's a two-way process. Don't expect to go to the coach and just receive information and that's all that's going to happen. This person is going to tell you something, you're going to implement it, blah, suddenly you're club number one. It doesn't work that way. You need to communicate with your coach. You need to tell them what you're feeling. You need to tell them when things don't feel that they're working. You need to tell them that that you've been working on this and this aspect seems good for you, but the other aspect doesn't seem so good. It is a communication process. Now, of course, in the case of a video like this, it's a one-way communication, more or less. I give you information, you do your best to implement it. But that's why it's not the perfect situation. It's sometimes the best situation for some people, but it's not the perfect situation. The perfect is on court with a coach. And if you're on court with a coach, communicate with this person. I could tell you lots of times when I've been coaching people and I'm asking them to do something and they're totally unresponsive. They're not talking to me. They don't say to me, oh yeah, but I don't like it like this, or I want to do it like this. No, they just don't come back. And that's a shame, because I'm sure I could have helped them, but that was their choice. But they were expecting to hear the things that they wanted to hear. They were expecting to just receive the information and literally not have to do anything. But you must understand, it's a communication process. You must communicate with your coach. You must talk to them. You must explain things. You must say what you're feeling, why it doesn't work, why it works, what you're happy about, what you're not happy about. So go and communicate with your coach. Number 4 is simply a follow-on from number 3, which is the idea that you're not going to go to a coach and just receive information. You have to do the work. You have to say, when the coach tells me something that I've got to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go there and I'm going to get the information and I'm going to communicate with them. And then when I walk away, I'm going to say, right, I'm now going to do the work. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to practice. I'm going to do the things that I need to do. So that is the information you need to know. You will have to work. You will have to make changes. It won't be easy. It won't be a case of just receiving the information and then everything's going to be happy. Woohoo! You will have to work, and you should know that before you go. That's the point of this video, is knowing what you should expect when you get to the coach. The coach will expect you to do some work. And I don't just mean on court at the time, I mean afterwards. If he or she tells you you need to make a change, you need to practice this, you need to do something, do it. Otherwise, the time you spend on court with the coach, the money you spend, the effort that you've put into getting coaching will be lost. You must work, otherwise you won't get the benefit. It's that simple. And the last one. The last one is that the player-coach relationship is exactly that. It's a relationship. What works for one student doesn't work for another. Like all relationships, some are good and some are bad. If we were to ask previous pupils of mine, some would say, yeah, Philip is a good coach. Others would say, wow, Philip is a great coach. Some would say, no, Philip is he's okay. Others would say, no, Philip is bad. And then even others would say, Philip is the worst coach I've ever had. Now, who's right? Well, all of them in a way, but hopefully none of them. Because the idea is that what's important is how I work with one person. So what I'm trying to tell you is there is no perfect coach. There is no coach that will be great for everybody. There will be a coach or many coaches that will be great for you, and there will be other coaches that won't work well with you. And that's nobody's fault. That's not the coach's fault, and it's not your fault. It's just like you don't like everybody, and that's not anybody's fault. Some personalities work better together. So what you need to do is when you're looking for a coach, if everybody says this is the best coach ever, but you go and you're not so happy with this coach, don't think that it's your fault. Know that you just have to work with a different coach. You have to find the coach that you feel comfortable with, that has the right work ethic for your style of learning, that explains things in the way that you like. So don't feel that the most famous or the most expensive or the most experienced is the coach for you, because he or she might not be. The coach for you is the one that encourages you, that you enjoy being on court with, the one that helps you improve in the way that you enjoy improving. So there we go. There were my 5 tips or 5 things that you should know before you get coaching. If you've got any other tips that readers might be interested or viewers might be interested in learning, then please share them in the comments. And as always, if you've got any questions about the process of finding a coach, just leave a comment and I'll do my best to help you. On the screen at the moment is a subscription button. If you think my content is useful, please consider subscribing. There is also a playlist of all of the other 5 things. Lots of videos there, and a video that YouTube thinks is a great fit for you based on what you've been watching. And remember, do something every single day to improve your squash. See ya.